Hello everyone, today I am doing my 29-week pregnancy update. If I sound a little bit funny, it's because I'll get into it, but I had COVID, and so now my voice is not quite back to normal yet, but I'll get more into that. So today I am 29 weeks and 4 days pregnant, which is so crazy, and I think I've said that like every video, but it just seems like time is flying by so quickly, and I'm already in my 3rd trimester and I can't believe it. It's insane. Today I am just going to be in a more relaxed setting than my normal videos. I got this idea from, I can't remember her exact YouTube name, but her name is, her name is Delilah, and I believe her YouTube is like Loepke something. I'll link it down below though. But she, when she was pregnant, she did pregnancy updates while folding clothes to keep it just very casual, as if we're just sitting here having a conversation talking about pregnancy. So that is what I will be doing. And at the end, I will be answering some questions that I have been asked from you guys on Instagram. So, without further ado, like I said, I'm 29 weeks and 4 days. It's crazy. And according to the Pregnancy Plus app, this is what baby looks like right now, if you can see. And he is the size of a winter squash or a puppy or a chocolate box. Even though chocolate boxes can be like any size. But he is about 15 to 17 inches long and 2.5 to 3.8 pounds. So, not quite sure where he measures on that scale because I haven't had an ultrasound in a little while, but hopefully I will have one soon, and then I can confirm whether or not he is following along there or ahead or whatever. As you can probably tell, the background is completely different. That is because we have officially moved into our house that we are renting for 2 years, which is so nice. Feels great to be in a house instead of an apartment, and since we'll be here for 2 years, we can kind of settle for a little while our son is a baby, so that's very nice. So that was a big change since my last update. The other biggest change since my last update is that like I said in the beginning, I had COVID, which was not a fun time. That was pretty rough. I am now almost 3 weeks recovered from when I first got it, and I won't get too into it, but it was a lot like having the flu and being pregnant. It was definitely a little bit more rough than it would have been if I wasn't, mostly because of my breathing and things, and meanwhile we were in the middle of moving when we first found out, so my husband and I really overexerted ourselves when moving, while having COVID, and just so many things going on, being pregnant. It was a lot. But now we are settled. We are, like I said, almost 3 weeks recovered. So very grateful, so happy to just feel like a human again, and to be in our new home and everything. There are still like minor symptoms that have stayed behind. One of them being clearly my voice is not the same as normal yet. I'm hoping that doesn't last too much longer. It doesn't help that I also have allergies right now, so it's partially from being sick and partially allergies. The other thing is that my taste did completely go away with COVID, which is not very fun. I would say it's probably at like maybe 15% now, and I don't know how long it will take for it to go back to normal. But I've known people where it has lasted like 8 months, so hopefully that's not the case for me. I'm gonna try a few different things. I've heard that having like a clove of garlic a day helps, just having it raw, which I don't mind doing that, so I'm gonna try it. But yeah, so not to get too far into that, just want to focus mainly on pregnancy here. So yeah, but it did make it a little bit difficult to really distinguish my symptoms between pregnancy and COVID, because I was just really tired and exhausted from both symptoms from both things. So yeah, not too many pregnancy changes other than the fact that now I am in my 3rd trimester. I'm a little bit bigger. I've kind of reached the point now where I can feel the weight from my stomach, especially when I first wake up in the morning and I get up to use the restroom. It can be pretty difficult to, when you're first waking up in the morning, to get out of bed and to kind of wobble to the restroom. It can be kind of painful, just that extra weight, full bladder, all of that all together. It's kind of a little bit painful in the morning. And at night I also kind of feel like the extra weight from it being the end of the day, being tired, and I'm sure will only increase, which is perfectly fine with me and something that I will always remember from being pregnant. Tomorrow I actually take the glucose test, which will be interesting, especially because I can't taste hardly anything. I'm not really sure if I'll even be able to taste the drink. I chose fruit punch at my last appointment, and I've heard that it kind of tastes like high C fruit punch, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell, so we'll see. I've also heard that some people, some women, get nauseous and sometimes even throw up from how sugary the drink is, if they're not used to sugar, which I don't really eat a lot of sugar. I did start lactating recently. I keep saying the word interesting, but it is interesting when you start lactating for the first time. Of course, not something I'm used to, so it was kind of exciting to see for the first time, as silly as that might sound. But I'm just at this point where I'm just so excited for every little thing. I mean, I have been since the beginning, but it's getting closer and closer to his due date, and it just makes all those tiny little things that much greater to experience. So far I haven't experienced really any swelling or too many pains. I have started to get Braxton Hicks a little bit. I think I've had Braxton Hicks a total of 3 separate times. The first time I didn't know what it was at first. I just knew that it was a new pain, and it did not feel like round ligament pain or any of the other growing pains I've experienced with pregnancy. So it made me a little nervous at first, But then as I started to say what it felt like, Cade was actually the person who realized that it was Braxton Hicks, and then I realized that he was absolutely correct and that the description that I was experiencing was the same as every other Braxton Hicks description. So yeah, and really what I did that first time, and has worked for me every time since, is just I chugged a bunch of water and kind of moved around a little bit and it went away. Yesterday is actually only the second and third time that I've experienced Braxton Hicks. That was probably, the first time was a couple weeks ago before we moved, and then yesterday was the second and third time. I had Braxton Hicks in the morning and then in the evening. So I'm not really sure why I had them twice in one day, but I did. They're really not too bad for me at all. They're really just uncomfortable is what I would say. They just kind of feel like a dull pain per se. Just kind of uncomfortable. Yeah, if I just drink water and move my body, then I'm good to go. For the most part. Yesterday in the evening they were not going away as well, but I was in the car so I couldn't really move, and it was a little more difficult to ease, but really they're not that bad at all for me. Everyone's different, so just because it's that way for me doesn't mean it is for others. Now that we are finally in this new home, I am starting to put his nursery together, which makes me so happy. And I think I will do a before and after video for YouTube, maybe like a little bit of a vlog of how I do some of it, especially because I will be doing a lot of DIY with it. I am also having my baby shower in about 2 weeks, which is so exciting. And I know traditionally with baby showers, someone typically throws it for you. However, I love decorating and projects and just putting things together. It's so exciting for me to have a baby shower that I have pretty much taken the reins on that and am doing a majority of it myself. I'm excited for that. I'm sure I will do a video for that as well. So far, I've just kind of been putting the pieces together little by little, making most of it myself. So much fun. There really has not been a ton of changes with my pregnancy since the last update. I feel great. I don't think I've lost my energy. I haven't had too many other pains or aches or anything. Actually, I think the ones that I did have before, I had some back issues before. I don't at all anymore, so that's really interesting because normally in third trimesters when you start to get more pains, but the ones that I did have pretty much went away. So not complaining about that. I guess I will just go ahead and answer the questions that I've been asked from Instagram since I don't have too much to go over today. First question is, are you going to show your baby boy once he's here? Yes, I definitely am. I'm not going to be one of those parents that posts every little thing that my children do. However, being a photographer and kind of having a presence on social media, I will include him in quite a few videos and photos, I'm sure. Being a photographer, I am going to be following my kids around with a camera their whole lives, and they're probably gonna go crazy because of it, but I want to document everything I can, but we'll see how much I end up posting with him and our future kids. We'll see. I'm sure just enough that it's obvious that he's a big part of my life, but also enough where he has his own privacy as he gets older. So yeah, hopefully that answers decently. Number 2 is, when's his due date? So it is November 20th. In the beginning, I was told that he would be due more around November 28th, but it's looking like November 20th, and that makes me so excited. What are you most excited for when baby boy arrives? That is a really difficult question to answer because I'm so excited for every little thing. I am so excited to hold him, to see what he looks like, to see him age, to get his own personality. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited to be a mom and to go on adventures as a little family. I'm excited for every single little thing. I really can't pinpoint one particular thing that I'm most excited for. Okay, next is, what is one thing you have learned from your pregnancy? I feel like this is also a hard question to answer because I've learned so much. I did talk about this in the last update, where I really learned to just take care of myself and to really take care of my body and be gentle with myself while also pushing myself and putting my health and happiness first before a lot of other things. So that is probably the biggest thing I've learned from pregnancy. Next is, how did you know you were ready to become a mom? So I've always wanted to be a mom. I've known my whole life that I've wanted to be a mom. I wanted to be a young mom. It's like my biggest dream of all things is to just have a family. And I would say I've always known. It wasn't really something that just happened overnight, or that I was never one of those people that thought, oh, I don't want to have kids, or I don't think I'm ready for kids, or I don't know when I'll be ready for kids. That's like far in the future. Like, I've never been that person. I've always known I wanted to have kids when I could, and I wanted to have a family when I could. So I feel like I've been preparing for this my whole life. Yeah. How did you combat morning sickness? It's my biggest fear for future pregnancies. Okay, honestly, it's my biggest fear for future pregnancies as well. I only plan to be pregnant one more time in my life. But even just that one more time, I'm definitely terrified of morning sickness again, because I had it pretty rough with this pregnancy, as I have talked about in previous updates quite a few times. Lost weight, really couldn't get out of bed. It was very, very rough on me that first trimester. However, once I got past it, pregnancy has truly been amazing for me, and I'm sure, especially once he's here, it'll just be so worth it to me that it won't even be something I think about hardly at all when planning our future pregnancies. So really, there's so many things that I can say for this, but it's only temporary, and it feels like forever, but it's only temporary, and you'll get past it, and that's really the only thing you can do. I tried everything. I did Preggy Pops, morning sickness tea, ginger tea, C-bands. I only ate certain things. I did everything I possibly could have. The only thing I would suggest is being in a better environment. I was not in the best environment when I was going through morning sickness. I had a roommate that was making bacon almost every single day, and the smell alone made me incredibly sick. And going forward, that would not be the case. I would not have that roommate. I would stay far, far away from bacon and things that triggered my morning sickness that I did not have any control over at the time. So I think your surroundings play a big part into how you will handle your morning sickness if you have it at all. Not everyone does. So you could be very lucky and not have it whatsoever, which for all I know, my next pregnancy I possibly won't. You never know. Every pregnancy is different. Every woman is different. So yeah, but I just will say my best advice is to just push through, because you will get through it. If you could share any advice for people scared for their body changing during pregnancy. And then the next one is kind of similar, and it's, how's the weight of the baby being inside, ? Is it getting in the way of your day-to-day? So I've been asked quite a few times how I've dealt with the body changes with pregnancy. Personally, it hasn't been an issue, so it's difficult for me to answer, because like I mentioned, I have always wanted to be a mom. I've always wanted to experience being pregnant. I think pregnant women are so beautiful and magical, and for myself to be pregnant, I don't feel any different about myself. I think I take care of myself. I love myself. I love this baby. I love growing him. So I personally don't struggle with any of that. The body changes are beautiful, and they're also temporary. My body will never go back to being exactly how it was pre-pregnancy, but I think that's beautiful, and I think that's a wonderful thing, and I'm very grateful to experience that. So I have kind of a somewhat biased opinion on this, because I don't struggle with it, but I do understand how other women would struggle with it, because there are so many changes over the course of 10 months. There are a ton of body changes, and I would say the hardest part for me really isn't about it being hard on me for my body to change, but for maneuvering through certain things in life that are a bit different. The weight is different, my balance is different, walking is different, even using the restroom is different. It's all very different. Your day-to-day life, you feel like you're in a different body, for sure. And with some of the daily things that I'm used to, that can be a little bit difficult. You have a big belly. You're carrying around with you everywhere. Intimacy is different. Like I said, using the restroom is different. it's all different. So I guess it's hard for anyone to completely have their body change. However, none of it is about insecurity or me missing my old body or anything like that. It's more just about figuring out how to maneuver through life with a different body, and it can be fun, it can be difficult, it can be so many things, but at the end of the day, I'm growing a human inside of me, and I think it's amazing and I love it. So yeah, I think just having that mindset, and if you are struggling with that, just think to yourself, like, you're growing a human, and what is more wonderful than that? So yeah, that's kind of my only advice. I don't know if I answered that very well. So that is everything for today. I hope I kind of went over everything for this update, but I'm sure there's some things I've missed, and like I've mentioned in previous videos, I suggest following my Instagram if you would like to see more pregnancy updates and day-to-day things that I post, because I post almost every single day, and a lot of it has to do with my pregnancy and just my life in general. So I will link that below as always, and I will show my belly in just a moment. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you either at the next pregnancy update or hopefully another video idea that may come up. So yeah. So here is my belly. It has definitely grown quite a bit. For me, I feel huge and the biggest I've ever been, but then other pregnant women will be like the same, on like the same week as me, or even less than I am, and they're like way bigger than me, and I'm like, well, for me, I feel huge, okay? So yeah.